back again. This is a strange one. Where to start? So, long story short, this time, this bike has been, and if you didn't know, it's a Thunderace, YZF1000 Thunderace on a 02 plate. This bike has been somewhere else for 8 months, and apparently they can't fix it. I don't think they've been trying for 8 months, obviously, but you get the point. The guy that owns it is just at the end of his tether, and he's taking it from the people that were trying to repair it, and he's given it to me and said, Jim, can you do something with it? Information's a little bit sparse. All I have at this point, and I do need to maybe speak to the customer a little bit more, but it was laid up for 12 months and then it wouldn't run properly, which obviously suggests that it's something carburation related. Hadn't done a lot of miles, done 20,000 miles, so it's unlikely to be something mechanical. It was laid up for about 12 months. When he came to get it going, it wouldn't run properly. Sent it to this place. I genuinely don't know what the other place is called, so I can't call them out. Not that I would. It's a bit unprofessional doing that, in my opinion. Won't go into that. So I've got the bike, and the bike came with these carburetors, and the story is they can't fix it because they need jets for the carbs. That sounds to me like code for we don't know what the fuck's wrong with it, so we're going to make up a story. You know what I'm saying. Goes on all the time, doesn't it? And you'll notice there's 4 pilot jets. So I got these carbs in this box with 4 pilot jets. That's all I know. What am I going to do? The first thing I'm going to do is, fucking hell, look at the screws and those float balls. All fucking chewed up. Going to focus on there? Doesn't bode well, does he? What a fucking disaster. Okay, I'm going to take the float balls off and just have an eyeball, see what's going on. Then, you know what I'm going to say next, don't you? Take the tank off, let's have a look. I'm hoping that the inlets have got some rags stuffed in them or something, you know. Fairings hanging off. Didn't come with any fairing screws. Going to do a compression test. Let's do a compression test. Let's eyeball the carbs. Let's see where we end up. I'm curious to see what's going on in here. Why would you reuse screws when the fucking head is completely rounded off? Makes me nervous. Okay, let's bring you in here. Oh, hang on, I'm on auto. No, I fixed me focus. I never fix me focus when I need to. And then, fuck's sake, Jim. I need a cameraman. Stand by. Okay, continuous foco. Can't speak. Continuous focus. Let's have a look here. What are we going to see? Oh, okay. Get it in shot, Jim. Fucking stinks. You haven't got smell-o-vision. See that green? It stinks of stale fuel. What on earth? Why are the pilot jets out of it? Can they just not unblock the pilot jets? That doesn't seem right, does it? Nothing too horrific looking. Okay, I'm gonna completely tear down these carburetors, and we'll reconvene then, and we'll have a little chat. Just spoken with a customer, try and get a bit more information. Apparently they've been ultrasonically cleaned, and they do look quite clean on the outside. I think we're going to have one of those. First observation, just pulled the idle mixture screws out. Those of you that know will know that there's a spring and there should be a little washer and a little O-ring. Well, there's no washer and no O-ring. So you would have, get it in shot, Jim. I need a t-shirt with Get It In Shot Jim on it, don't I? So you'd have a washer on the mixture screw, and then you'd have a little... Fucking hell, come on now. I need feeding, I'm getting hangry. You have a spring on the mixture screw like that, and then you should have, if it focuses, you should then have a little washer and then a little O-ring before it goes in. Anyway, get to the point. The washer and O-ring are missing on all of them, so it suggests that they've been worked on by a chimp that has no clue what they're doing. So my spider senses are telling me this is likely just going to turn into one of those videos that'll be, let's do a compression test, it's got compression, let's clean the carbs, put it on, it runs fine. I was hoping for something maybe a little bit more interesting than that, but my spider senses are telling me a good carb clean is probably just going to fix this, but we'll see, follow along. Let's get these completely stripped, see what we find. Hopefully I can get this turned around quick and back to the owner, because he really needs it back for good reason. Right, speak to you soon. Okay, so carbs are soaking. I'm just using my special carb juice, just in a... You get the idea. You know, I put my carb juice in a... I know I'm not telling you what it is. I keep getting asked. I haven't got many trade secrets, but this I get mixed for me. Incredible stuff. Not going there. I put it in a reusable aerosol. And yeah, so I chase all the... Get that out of there. I chase all the passageways with chemical over the course of a couple of days. You can see they've only been in there a couple of minutes, but see how that's turning green? That's varnish contamination. So chase all the varnish out. I did discover that, because nobody ever knows, well, they should know, but people being people, there's some air jets. There's a main air jet and a pilot air jet for the different circuits in the carb body. Can't remember which one it was now, but the idle air jet on one of these was block solid. And then just a car crash, really. Green and furry. I think it is going to be what I said. It's just going to be a, you know, a straightforward carburetor clean. Let's have a look under that tank now, see what's going on. Speak properly. See what's going on under there. Randomness under the seat, so some carburetor parts, tank bolts. There are a couple of fairing screws under here, which I'm going to need if I'm going to road test it. Hold that fairing on. Right, the fuel tank. Okay, what do we got going on under here? Whoa. Well, we've got an air box, that's a good start. Get that out of the way. Well, they had the good sense to cover the inlets up by draping a manky t-shirt over it. What's going on there then? Why is that fuel pipe connected to... It's a bit random. Where's that going? Why is... That's a water pipe, isn't it? Yeah. The fuel tank... Are you seeing this? The fuel tank is connected to a water pipe. Are you having a fucking giraffe? That there is the... Where is it? That there's the pipe for the fuel. What the fuck? Okay, camera's in the way. I'm going to move you out the way and detach these pipes. Yeah, what's happened is they've just used that. That's the fuel filter which goes to there, and then that goes to the tank. They just had this, and they needed something to block that pipe. That's a heater pipe for the carburetors, and then the other one has got the missing tank bolt screwed into it. Just want to have an eyeball down in there. Make sure there's no foreign bodies. And then some proper blanks. Really? So we don't get any rubbish down in there. Okay. Got to get all this fucking gubbins out of the way, do a compression test. I'm tempted to not even do a compression test. 18,900 miles. You know what I'm going to do? No, I am going to do it. I'm going to put a set of plugs in. I'm going to do a compression test. Because I have been burnt in the past, as you've been witness to. Yeah, missing pipes, but I think that's what's under the seat there, those breather pipes for the carbs. Right, leave those carbs soak. Do a compression test. I'll bring you back in for that. Put a set of plugs in it. Got some bits on order for the carburetors. Just some float bowl gaskets, some float needle valves. Just basic stuff. Hopefully this is an easy one. Right, see you in a bit. Okay, so I didn't go in through the top to get to the spark plugs. I thought it was probably prudent, given that the fairings were flapping around and falling off, and I want to actually ride this thing when I'm done. I've taken fairings off both sides just so I can reattach myself. I'm glad I did, because I found like plastic clips missing and all kinds of stuff. So with these, obviously different bikes are different, but with these you can get your hand in, get the plug caps off and get the plugs out easily from the side, so I haven't got to fight with this plastic tray here. Is sort of encapsulated, is that the right word, by the top of the radiator. It's a difficult way to get at the plugs through the top. Some bikes, way easier to get the airbox out and get in this way than get the fairing panels off, because with some bikes, wafflage, when you take the fairing panels off, there still isn't really any access through the side, so you kind of got to just know the design and know the shortcuts, if you like. Top tip for you, when you're removing plugs really from any engine, these were particularly bad for this back in the day, but once you've removed the spark plug cap, get busy with an airline around the spark plug. I did that on this and I got clouds of blooming rusty dust stuff, clouds of it coming out. Turns out that, if we can see this, if it'll focus, see this hole here, see all this rust coming out? Well, this hole was block solid, and hang on, go previous. This hole here is drilled all the way, not all the way through, but drilled through to allow both spark plugs on this side, so cylinder number 2 and number 3. It's a water drain hole, so if you get water around the spark plug, this is where the water would leak out from, or you know, drain away from. This hole was completely blocked, and as a consequence, around the spark plugs on this side, I'll get a little camera in there and I'll show you. Are we getting that? And that is, I know there's a lot of reflection going on, sorry guys. That's 100% better than it was. It still needs more of a cleanage. Slightly concerned that that plug might be seized in looking like that, but probably not. So yeah, don't go just pulling the plug caps off and just removing the spark plug. Consider what's around that spark plug, because I tell you what, there's a lot of these engines in the world that have been ruined by stuff dropping down inside the cylinders. The early Genesis motors, like the FZ750, remember those? Cylinders were leaning quite far forward. All bits of road grit and stuff used to get down. Seen many of those engines ruined by people taking the plugs out. Little bits of stone and crap dropping down inside the cylinders. So yeah, if you haven't got a little camera like I've got, cheap as beans on Amazon these days though, get a little magnet on a little mirror on a stick and a torch, and just have a good look down the spark plug hole. With some bikes you can literally, you know, see, so it's not a drama. Anyway, let's try and get these plugs out and do the compression test. Just show you what a good one looks like. So that's cylinder number 1. You can see actually that hole. I'll put a little arrow on the screen, but that drilling goes all the way through. If I can get to the other side, see there, and it goes through to number 2 spark plug as well. That's how the water drains out. Not much of a hole though, so it would block really easily. Right, compression test, get on with it. Compression test. So this is number 1 cylinder. Loads of wind. So I've done them all, and 1, 2 and 3 were like this. No, hang on, 1, 2 and 4 were like that. Number 2, initially, it was like a weak 50 psi, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is why we compression test. I've sprayed a little bit of GT85 down in there while it's been cranking. Let me show you what I'm getting now. This is number 3, the dodgy one. It's actually, yeah, she's come right back around. False alarm. I think, I don't know, a bit of something under one of the valve seats, possibly, maybe, but it's, yeah. I was nervous there for a second. I should have filmed that bit. God knows what it's ingested. You know, the dirty t-shirt laid across there, stood for 8 months, could be, I don't know, but we've got loads of wind now on all 4 cylinders. Put a set of plugs in it and let's concentrate on the carburetors. In true gym style, this is now 4 days later, because I've been pulled in multiple different directions doing lots of different things. Lots of carburetors on the go at the moment. I won't bore you with that. So what's happened? They sat on the bench here for a couple of days, and a couple of times a day I would flush chemical through to clean them till I was getting clean chemical out. And then, what did I want to say? A good top tip is, if you look in the back of the carburetor here, there are some air jets. So a really good way when you're cleaning a carburetor chemically, you know, spraying carb cleaner in and paying attention to all the potential places it should be going and coming out of. The place to feed the chemical in, the best place, is the air jets. Now, a lot of people don't even know these air jets are here. So this covers over there, look, so you wouldn't see that. And actually, with this particular bike, one of the air jets, one of the idle air jets, it was either cylinder 2 or 3, I can't remember which way around I had the carburetors, but the idle air jet was completely block solid. So that's potentially why the last people that worked on this were struggling so much, because these hadn't been off. These are held in with, where are the screws? I'll show you. See the focus? See, the screws have got thread lock on. And you can tell that they haven't been out in a very long time. So whoever was doing these carburetors hadn't removed those, which meant they couldn't get to the air jets. So what am I trying to say? If I'm trying to say anything, I'm saying be aware that all carburetors have an air jet. They have an air jet, well, they have 3 normally. They have one for the choke circuit, one for the idle circuit, and one for the main circuit. Often they're not in the back here. They can sometimes be up under the diaphragm, slide diaphragm, because this underneath the diaphragm, without, God, I don't want to get into the design of a carburetor. See this pipe? This vents to atmosphere. So the underside of the diaphragm is also effectively atmospheric pressure, which is the same as this side of, anyway, fucking hell, don't go down a rabbit hole. If you're feeding carb cleaner into a carburetor to clean it, a really good place to do that is through the air jets, because you can, if you've got your 3 air jets in the back here, the choke, the pilot and the main air jet, they go everywhere in the carburetor, in the sort of anatomy of the body of the carb. So if you're feeding your cleaning fluid in one of these jets, you can then, you know, as long as you've paid attention and you've figured out in your brain where everything should be, all the little drillings and passageways, feed it in one place, you can watch it come out of everywhere. Hopefully that makes sense. So, fucking hell, get to the point. So these carbs are ready to go back together. It's been a few days, everything's clean. They haven't been ultrasonically cleaned. Shock horror. They've had their chemical sprayed through them, and then I've just done the same thing with aerosol brake cleaner and just washed everything out. Brake cleanered them off, airlined them to death, and that's as good as they're going to get. They've previously been in an ultrasonic tank with the last person that was trying to get this bike to run properly many times, so actually externally the bodies are quite clean. So just chemically done, brake clean it out. In terms of parts, got some float bowl gaskets, some float needle valves. These are keister kits, although they're not in keister bags. So reasonable quality Japanese kits. Genuine Yamaha stuff's just prohibitively expensive, although that would be my first choice. Yeah, ready to go. I'm going to vapor blast these. See these float bowls? See how it's a bit green in there? It's like 2 seconds with a vapor blaster. Just to, anyway, fucking hell, I'm not going into that. Set of plugs to go in, which haven't been put in yet. That's what I wanted to say. Remember the original story? Let's move those that way. The place it came from, they said, oh, it needs jets. So I think the reason they said that is, see this pilot jet's got the end snapped off it, and they're all looking very, they're all a bit corroded and horrible. But it doesn't matter what they look like on the outside, so long as the orifice is free and the correct size. Doesn't matter though, because, not an advert, but you can, the pilot jets for these are 10 a penny. They're like £2.50 each. A good source for these pilot jets, these are EBC jets. You know, the people that make the brake pads and discs? Yeah, they do a big range of carburetor parts, in case you didn't know. So I've got some new pilot jets for there. I've got some float ball gaskets and stuff. Anyway, fucking hell, stop talking. I'm going to put these carbs together off camera now. Let's get them on the bike. I'm hoping, new set of plugs, it will just be fixed. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And I'm sure the owner would be very happy. Right, I'll get these together. Let's get them on the bike, and then I'll show you first start, and hopefully it's going to run okay. To the bike. Carbs are on. Super straightforward. These, no problem at all. What to say, new fuel filter as well. See if it goes. What I will need to do, have I mentioned this or not? I can't remember, because again, it's another day's gone by after that last clip. I had to go up one size on the pilot jets because I couldn't get the exact pilot jet, so there's going to be a bit of jiggery pokery with the idle mixture. I'll put a gas analyzer in the exhaust and show you that. So that's going to need a bit of adjustment. And I haven't got my vacuum gauges connected. They're easy on these. The earlier Yamahas used to have, like the X-Ups and stuff, and the FZR1000s used to have, if you've ever worked on them, trying to balance the carbs was a fucking mission, because the screw for the vacuum takeoff was buried. I think it was so horrible, everybody moaned, and then Yamaha put these nice little pipes so the vacuum gauges are easy to connect to. Anyway, I'm stalling. Contact, full choke. Fucking hell. Awesome. Straight away. Don't worry about the choke off. Don't worry about the tacho doing that. That's because the fuel tank is disconnected. Not the choke off. Okay. Well, fuck me. Sounds sweet as. So, I'm not going to run it for long. Fucking hell, that really stinging my eyes already. What am I trying to say? Get your thoughts together, Jim. The oil looks really, really black. So I'm going to change on the oil. But I wanted it just to initially hear it run like that, because I don't want to do the oil and filter and then find that there's a fucking crank bearing falling out of it or something, and I've wasted oil and filter on it. So before I run it anymore now, I'm going to do the oil and filter. And I should probably check the coolant, because, yeah, those two little coolant pipes for the carbs, for the carb heater, they've been disconnected. So it's probably low on coolant. So do the oil and filter, top the coolant up. In fact, I might even treat it to a coolant change. Let's get some vacuum gauges connected and the gas analyzer in the exhaust, and I'll show you that. Okay, so just a quick look at the carb balancing. They're a little bit out, they're not too bad. And then, as suspected, I've got the probe in the exhaust pipe. It's got slightly bigger pilot jets. The screws are set to whatever the standard was now. I think it was 2 turns out. They need to be brought in, probably quarter turn on each cylinder. Get that as close to stoic as possible. Let me do that because I haven't got enough hands. And yeah, in fact, I can maybe get to the adjuster. Hang on. That is in the ballpark. And then a slight tweak of the centre screw. You can hear the engine note change slightly. Can you hear me over this engine? Probably not. The mic seems to pick up all the rattling. Right, mixture next. I'm going to go a quarter on each of these mixture screws. If I can get to them. I really am going to have to put this camera down. One hand is not enough. So, slightly the rich side of stoic, but I'm going to take that. And the carbs are balanced. Put the airbox on and go and have a ride. Okie dokie. So, oil and filter done, top the coolant up, all the bodywork's on and tight. Although there's one screw missing which you need to order. Ticks over nice. Sun is shining. Oh no. Oh fuck. Oh, there we go. Fucking hell, clutch is stuck. That was nearly a disaster. Just fucking lurched forward when I stuck it into gear. It stood for so long. Whoa, not much brakes. It has got brake pads, it's just... they'll come back around, I'm sure. Just the mirrors. Nice easy one this, guys, assuming it runs alright. It seems to be. Fucking zero rear brake. Oh yeah, it's coming back. Quick little road testy spin. And we'll call this one fixed. Isn't it fucking outrageous that somebody had this for 8 months, was it? Something like that. Feeding the fucking owner loads of bollocks stories saying they can't get parts and this, that and the other. Fucking straightforward carb clean. I just... fucking hell. It ain't right. And there's a story, which I'm not going to tell you, that the owner really needs this bike back. And it makes the fucking 8 months even more fucking outrageous. I've had it, unfortunately, I've had it for a couple of weeks. And I wanted to get to it straight away, but I wasn't quite sure when it was going to arrive, because it's come from... hang on, I've got to concentrate. I wasn't quite sure when it was going to arrive, and it arrived a couple of days before I went on holiday, and I was fucking rammed with work, so I couldn't get to it. Oh yes. And then I had a load of stuff I had to do when I came back off holiday, so it's been, unfortunately, it's been a couple of weeks. And I did promise the guy that at the moment it arrived, I'd get to it as quickly as humanly possible. So I kind of did get to it as quickly as humanly possible, but he has had to wait a couple of weeks, unfortunately. Okay, well, you don't want to watch me ride this motorbike, do you? It's going to be boring as fuck, so I will say my goodbyes. Usual waffle at the end of a video. Join the Discord if you can. Motorcycle repair group. Loads going on there. Link in the description. If you haven't fucking subscribed, can you go and subscribe, please? I was looking at my analytics the other day, and like 20% of the people that watch these videos are subscribed. I'm just trying to get it over. Holy fuck! Is my strap undone? Oh no. Just trying to get it over 30,000 subs, and they're getting close. So if you could click on the little subscribey thing, that'd be amazing. Right, thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.